in your findings of the gross anatomy and your examination of the body itself, did you find anything unusual at all related to the arteries of this young man and any diseases of the body itself?
I would have to refer back to my report, and I can tell you that in his cardiovascular system, his heart weighed 340 grams, which is within a normal range for someone his age and size. His coronary arteries, although they were patent, meaning there was space for blood to flow through them, did have a moderate degree of atherosclerosis or cholesterol plaque buildup in one coronary artery. That is the left anterior descending coronary artery. It's a blood vessel that runs on the front of your heart, and 50% of the lumen of that vessel was narrowed, meaning of the circle for that vessel, half of it was plugged up by cholesterol plaque.
Is that abnormal in any way for, and how old was Mr. Spivey at the time of autopsy?
I believe he was 33 years old, and it depends on his lifestyle, his diet, a number of things, but it is not entirely unusual for us to see cholesterol plaque buildup in coronary arteries of some patients.
And I know you're not a toxicologist, but as a pathologist, does that indicate to you the possibility of steroid use in the past?
It does not.
Okay.
Sorry. I can't
She
see
said,
it.
I'm sorry.
It
She
does
said
not.
it does not to her. All right, and
Does not.
I'm sorry, it does not what?
If the use of the testosterone does not
Indicate.
indicate for the snaring of that artery.
Okay. Thank you.
all right, and let me go back, if I could, with you and ask you on page 9 of your autopsy report, if you would describe for the record the location of the gunshot wound.
Page 9.
Page 9.
I only have
You
7
don't see
pages
that?
of my autopsy
Okay.
report.
Evidence of injury. Do you have that portion of the autopsy report there with you? I'm talking about this.
I think that is the total pages of everything together.
Yep.
In the evidence of injury, for me, it's on page 3 of 7
Okay.
of the autopsy report.
Yes, and what does that show?
The gunshot wound to the back is located specifically at 9 inches to the right of midline and 6 inches below the top of the shoulder, and that is right side of the back near the axillary region.
Okay, and if you would turn to the portion that relates to the cheek wound there, and clarify, was the wound to the cheek from front to back?
The wound to the cheek had some features that led me to believe that it could have been from front to back, and I said apparent trajectory because I wasn't very sure that that was the trajectory.
That's the way you reported in the report, is from front to back, correct?
Right, apparently from front to back.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Mr. Moss?
None, Your Honor. I proxy them.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Tinsley.
So, I just want to be clear. Can I borrow your stick one? Yeah. Your report says, on page 7, you had up there, gunshot wound to the back, right?
Yes.
And I don't mean to be crass or insensitive, and I apologize. But I'm a hunter, okay? And so, how about take this stick and put it the best approximation of where that bullet ended up in his left pectoral muscle.
Gotcha. So it would be described under the evidence of injury, gunshot wound to the back, which is the second paragraph down. Recovered projectile consists of copper-colored jacketing, and that is recovered from the right hemidiaphragm. And then the gray metal partially flattened bullet is recovered from a hematoma in the left pectoral muscles. So your chest muscle attaches on the top here, comes down across, that's your pectoral. It's in a hematoma or a big blood clot collection inside of that muscle.
About here.
Yes.
All right, now, I want you to step down here. And if the judge is the shooter, he has to, you have to line up where the bullet enters to where it doesn't exit, but where it's going, right?
Correct.
So turn me so that the judge is shooting me.
You have to be facing him this way, but you're towards the back of the right side of his body, because the gun would have to be pointed at this area for that bullet to enter, and it enters right along here, because his armpit, I'm sorry,
Okay. You go.
is right here. It would be on this part of his back, so it goes in that way, across towards the right side.
Yeah, but I want you to
left
get
side of his
behind me
body.
and I want you to line that hole up with this so that we see.
Can I use the stick?
Yes, ma'am. No, I want to. So if we were imagining the bullet's going to exit my chest, okay? We know it
Correct.
doesn't. It stops under the skin, correct?
Correct.
At least, so the lead center separates from the jacket. The jacket goes into the diaphragm or ends up in the diaphragm.
Correct, on the right side.
And then the center part, the lead continues and it ends up in a collection
Of blood in the left pectoral muscle.
Okay, and we placed it here, and so now what I want you to do is if you were going to put the bullet through me, run the bullet through me, I want you to line it up so that from the judge's perspective, the bullet goes in a straight line, right?
Relatively speaking,
Okay,
yes.
so line me up to the judge.
You'd be at this angle.
Okay. You can have a seat, thank you. The judge is going to hear a fair amount of testimony that Mr. Boyd says that he saw Scott Spivey's shirt wrinkle or crinkle, or words to that effect, when he was shot. Based on your examination, that was the only wound that would have been indicated by a crinkle or wrinkle of the shirt. Fair?
I think so, yes.
Okay. I mean, if he had the shirt tied up over his head, it would have. But other than that would be the only time he could have seen that, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And do you have an opinion in terms of whether or not I'm going to say, care of this body before the blood sample is collected? Because there is testimony that the body was left in the car, it was towed from the scene in the car, it remained in his truck in hot temperatures for a long time. Whether or not that makes the blood test or affects the blood test in terms of alcohol.
The alcohol level does get affected by the time frame between when the person died and when we collect it. However, I don't think that it is a significant level of change in this case, and I wouldn't comment further on it because it doesn't necessarily reflect on the cause of death, which is the purpose of my autopsy.
That's right. And the cause of death is he bled to death, correct?
That is the immediate cause of death. The mechanism of how he died is blood loss.
Okay. And if you can, do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of certainty about how long Mr. Spivey would have lived with that wound?
With the injuries that he had from that chest wound, injuring all of the organs in his chest, it affected the large vessels coming off of his heart, both lungs. It can be anywhere from seconds upward of a minute or more until the blood pumps out and fills the cavities.
And if we go back to, we don't have the toxicology screen where, let me just hand you mine. We don't need to go back, but it says there in the center, and this is Defendant's Exhibit 46, testing requested, correct?
Yes.
And that was requested by Horry County PD, correct?
The testing panel that we did, the post-mortem expanded blood, that's our standard request. The anabolic steroids screen and alcohol panel specifically on fluid, those were specifically requested by the coroner's office to be performed.
Of Horry County?
Yes.
Okay. And just so the court's clear, there were at least, we deposed Mr. Bauer, the toxicologist from the lab, there were at least 27 different ways that they checked for anabolic steroids and none were found, correct?
I can only tell you what the report tells me.
And it tells you none were found, correct?
It tells me there was testosterone there, but I can't say if it was what's normally in the body or something that was administered.
And in terms of the cardiovascular disease that you found in Mr. Spivey's heart, that would not be inconsistent with a person with a severe family history of heart disease, would it?
It could be consistent with family history of heart disease, poor diet, poor lifestyle, a number of things.
To try to say that that was a result of a specific anabolic steroid use would be speculative in your opinion, correct?
For me, yes.
But you're the one that saw it, right?
I can't tell you that the specific anabolic steroid caused it, so I would be speculating.
And you're the one who actually saw his heart?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
One question, clarification. In terms of after that wound was sustained, it eventually was fatal. I think you and I had to talk about the fact that in this instance, if the deceased was shot outside the truck, he would or could have had the ability to get back into the truck and continue to shoot his gun for some limited period of time.
There is potentially a period of time where he could have done that. I wouldn't be able to say that that happened because I wasn't there, and I can only tell you what I saw at the autopsy.
But the injury that you saw would have allowed that, would have allowed time for it.
Yes, it's possible that he would have had time for that.
All right, that's all I have.
Great. All right, you're done. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
And now, Judge, we will release Dr. Phillips. And we would offer the deposition of toxicologist Justin Brower, B-R-O-W-E-R.